Hello and welcome to Norfolk Vlogging. Yes, we are in Wroxham again today, but today we are on the Vintage Broadsman for on a river trip for 2 hours. So we'll go have a journey out onto the Broads, have a little look, see what there is, and see the sights. Might see some birds, you never know, and generally have a look around. But we'll see you in a bit.
White water. Get her eyes.
Subscribe.
That's a fine.
It's all very nice, guys. Nice and clean, nice and tidy. Yeah. The family just looking out the windows there. Say hello. Go see what the boy's doing.
Oh boy. Well,
I said go and see what the boy's doing.
Oh, the boy.
The boy.
The floaty boy.
And the floaty boys, or the boy boy,
yes.
as in the boy, as in
the floaty boys.
The floaty boys.
Is it the ones that have parties on, isn't it?
Yeah, they have parties on that. Oh, you got a big boy out there.
That's the queen of the Broads.
Queen of the Broads, is it? Okay.
That's what I'll say his name is anyway.
I think he's gonna.
Yeah, he's parking.
It's got to put it in reverse. Find it. There we go. Let's find it.
No, he's using his thrusters.
His thrusters, yeah.
I think if he has to come in first, and then before we can go out.
Bow thrusters.
Bow thrusters.
Bow thrusters or aft thrusters?
Bow. Because of the front though.
Yeah, I know. I think they're the them ones is the 1.5 tour.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, because they're more faster boys.
Yeah.
Faster ships.
Yeah, fast. Yeah. This
is the more casual
more
casual,
more vintage.
This is the relaxed
This
one.
is the relaxed one.
Relaxed. Much relaxed. They have snacks and drinks on here, so.
Oh, I've got the Haribo Star Mix.
Oh, you got yeah. I've got
He's got Haribo.
Yeah, I've got the Haribo then.
He's got the Star Mix.
I've got the Star Mix stuff.
The boys got some Star Mix.
Oh, yeah, I'm a boy.
Only if you're good though.
Only if you're
good. Sorry. Sorry, I've been corrected. Son.
Buster. Oh, that suits me very well, actually.
Buster.
Is he starting up?
Do it. Do it.
Don't do that.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Hello everybody, welcome aboard the Vintage Broadsman. My name's Ollie, I'm your skipper, and we also have Zoe here who's going to take very good care of you throughout the trip. What we're going to do in the next trip is to cruise on down to all the lovely riverside houses here in Wroxham. You can decide which house you'd like to buy if ever you win the lottery. We're then going to go down onto Wroxham Broad, quite a famous sailing broad. And then after that we'll have a little visit down to Salhouse Broad and then go a little bit further along the river. Along the way I'll talk to you about the area. So I've fished and sailed here for most of my life, and I also teach environmental science, so I'll give you a bit of a feel for everything as we head downstream. And then on the way back, I'm sure you'd be very pleased to hear I'm just going to stop talking, give you a chance to relax and enjoy the scenery. Before we do get underway, I just need to give you a brief safety announcement, so here it comes.
Don't panic.
In the unlikely event of an emergency, you'll be notified by means of an announcement.
I'm flying,
Please
Jack.
remain calm and comply with all directions given by the crew. Emergency exits are marked with green and white signs. The vessel also carries the appropriate life-saving apparatus, which can be launched manually or float free if required. In the interest of safety, adults please ensure small children are accompanied at all times and not left alone on any part of the vessel. The whole of the boat is non-smoking. There's 2 toilets on board. They're on the back deck where you got on. And best of all, we've got a bar downstairs, and that will open about 5 minutes after departure. If you are in the pub and you want to come back upstairs again, that's fine. Just use the steps you went down at the stern of the boat where you boarded, not up the front. That's just for an emergency exit situation. Please also don't stand to the side of the wheelhouse, and especially kids, please don't sit on the roof of the wheelhouse. That is about it, and we'll shortly be departing.
There's only a skipper.
Oh yeah, well, I can't drink, can I? No, but you can. Yeah. I've just been told that there is drink available on board, but I cannot drink because I'm driving. I'm not driving the boat, but I am driving. I am driving later. And we're off, guys. We've got. Oh.
Fantastic. Are you guys alright down here in the settings?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's been down your feet.
Oh, sorry.
Can you find somewhere else to do it?
Are you right down there? You can lower the window down a bit more if you wanted to, you know.
Yeah, they can go a little bit further, but not that
It's
bit.
fine.
They can't go all the way down.
Wave.
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 Who are we waving to? We're not going on hot bar later.
Wave.
We're not Violet.
Oh Jesus!
We're not Hyacinth Bouquet, you know.
Alright, she's a fine vessel.
She's Arr. All aboard my hearties. Arr.
It was nice breeze. But then top, not on top of
Oh, little baby
A
boat.
little baby boat. It's like little mini me's, Mark.
Oh, can we have one of those?
You can hire them out.
Dad, can we do that next time?
Not about a lot of money, 150 quid a day.
I'm sure we can, steal one.
Yeah, Mark.
You've got evidence.
Which one do you want?
I ain't new ones.
Not these ones,
No.
further up.
Well,
A holiday home.
Oh,
the Holdy homes, yeah.
How much? A lot?
Well, for Holdy home, I don't know. You can rent them out. You have to go online and have a look.
Go give the lady a wave.
Oh, the small. There's nobody on board
Oh yes, wave look the queen. Wave look the queen. And smaller wave, boys. Smaller wave. Smaller wave,
Okay.
boys.
Yeah.
They're having fun. That's amazing. This is a fine vessel. Not like War Thunder.
How old this one is?
What, the boat? Pretty old.
Okay then folks, so we're now safely out onto the River Bure. This river flows for about 25 miles further downstream from here, where it meets the sea, an estuary called Braden Water. It also connects up to 6 other rivers and 63 shallow lakes to form the wonderful Norfolk Broads National Park. So it's a really special area for wildlife. We've got a quarter of all of Britain's rarest species living here, including some things you won't find anywhere else in the country, like swallowtail butterflies, for example, Britain's biggest butterfly. There's many rare birds, including bitterns, cranes, marsh harriers, spoonbills. Sometimes on these trips we're lucky enough to see kingfishers. Sometimes we see otters, and definitely we'll see lots of herons, great crested grebes, cormorants, different types of geese and so on. Also it's worth mentioning the Broads is pretty big. There's 125 miles of waterways surrounded not just by the water, but also marshes, reed beds and older car woodland, and you'll see some of that environment today, particularly the older car. We're also going to talk to you a little bit about some of the history of the area, and in fact on that note we've just left one of the oldest boatyards on the Broads for tourism. It was set up way back in 1878. In fact our company Broads Tools isn't so far behind. We've been here ever since the 1930s, though back then we had lots of little single decker boats rather than the 4 big double deckers we operate today. And this one, the Vintage Broadsman, was built by our own team of boat builders back in 1988. Of course, Broads tourism goes right back to the days of the wherries. Now, wherries are very shallow bottom boats with huge single sails that for hundreds of years would have carried goods around the Broads, supplying the villages with all the goods that they needed. And this way of life continued for centuries until railways came to the region in the Victorian era, putting a lot of these old wherrymen out of business. But what the trains did do for the area was to bring tourists here for the first time. So some of those more enterprising wherrymen, they added little cabins to their boats and used them as some of the first tourist boats on the Broads, in what became known as the pleasure wherry class. And a few years later they came up
How about
with the
living there
rather
then,
sleek and
right?
wherry
there,
yacht
yeah.
design.
Yeah.
And you can see one of those wherry yachts,
Yeah.
a beautiful wherry yacht Narada, just
Lot of
through
money.
the hole
Yeah.
in the hedge there, built in the early 20th century by a local boat builder in Wroxham called Ernest
that's a
Collins. Now, by the early 20th century,
Yeah, that's a
Wroxham had
beautiful
really
vessel.
taken
That's
off
a
as a
fine
major
vessel.
tourism hub
That's a
on these
fine
wary
vessel.
holidays,
That
and
is
also
a
people
fine vessel.
hiring
That is a fine
smaller
sailing
traditional
vessel.
river cruises like this one on the left to sail
Oh.
themselves for their holidays.
Yes.
And by the early 20th century,
above
people
ground.
were beginning to call Wroxham the capital
Oh, yeah.
of the Broads, by far the busiest place anywhere on the
Oh,
Broads,
okay.
which it's still known as today. And that made it quite a wealthy area, which is why we have all these beautiful riverside houses along here. And it also partly explains why we have Roy's of Wroxham here as well, which was set up in 1898 by two brothers, Alfred and Arnold Roy. And due to the general growth of Wroxham, Roy's became officially the world's largest village store, which is something they won an accolade back in the 1930s, and they still trade as today.
Oh, look at that one.
So as we head
That's a
downstream, I'll
posh
point
one,
out
that
some
one.
of my favourite £1 million houses.
Million
£1
pounds. Have you got a
Remember
spare
to make
million?
a
Have you got a
note
spare
while you
money,
win the
Mark?
lottery.
That one there, all the facts
Yeah, I'm
one.
sure I've got a spare million in the bag somehow. Look how big that is. That's huge. That is massive.
This house on the left by the Wee, this is actually a holiday rental, so I looked that one up and it was £3,000 for the week or £1,000 for the weekend.
Just a couple of days then, it'll be alright.
And probably a third or half the houses are holiday houses, and about half are either places people
Hey, you got a
live
spare
year
grand?
round or have second homes at. It's just as easy as living anywhere
Yeah, I've got a
else.
spare couple of grand in the
You just
bag.
have the benefit of having the river at the bottom of your garden, and of course
I love
the
the old
advantage
sailing
for us
boats.
is we can have a little bit of a sneaky peek to see how the other half live. Now on the right we can see lots of grey lag geese in the garden here, and this is in a house called Brynwood. It's got its own private broad in it. And I like this little blue and white holiday bungalow. This one's called Leisure Hour. It's one of the original 1920s holiday bungalows. So it gives you a little bit of an idea as to what Wroxham might have looked like back in its heyday.
It's nice, isn't it?
That is very nice. There's a hand.
That's one of
They say
Yeah.
George Formby.
That's a little one, you know.
Yeah,
Even though it's all cost like $1 million or something.
probably.
Yeah, that's
Of
new.
course, many of the properties have been replaced by more modern constructions over the years, and the latest house we bought is this very stylish glass-fronted one. There was an old wooden house till about 5 or 6 years ago, and they knocked it down and replaced it with this nice new design, as well as the annex next door.
Oh, an annex. Ooh.
£3,000.
Woo.
They got two
Not bad to have an annex as well, isn't it? A house and an annex.
That's for the old people of the family. Or holidays. I like them metal text structures. Oh, doesn't it make you envious?
Yeah. It's nice to live on the side.
I wish you wouldn't live here for flood. I smash that does.
Sometimes.
The only place you can have a padlock hole in your living room.
Look at this, honestly. Makes you sick, doesn't it?
Don't throw up on there every day.
No, I mean like sick that you know all these nice houses.
It's nice
you
in
know.
there because it's not so many people around the
Oh,
house.
sorry. Oh, look at the grass. Even the grass is well mown. Jesus.
They've got private gardens.
Appearance
Oh,
is
yeah.
dark. The size of that one over there.
Oh, that's a cute one. That one. That little one.
Is there a holding legs?
Yeah, most of them are.
What size of that one?
Yeah. I look the little one. Oh, it's not.
George
Oh, okay, it's not
Formby.
little. Okay, it looks little up the front.
Okay, so coming up on the right hand side is the former holiday home of the great entertainer George Formby. He used to play the ukulele, do lots of funny songs, and was a black and white movie star, famous for entertaining the troops during the Second World War. The house today is called Herrenby, but when George Formby had it, he named it Beraldine after his fearsome wife and manager Beryl. Apparently Formby was such a big star that whenever he was in residence, people used to pile all our Broadstall's trip boats, see if they could spot him in his garden. And George Formby got so cheesed off at this, he actually banned our skippers from pointing him out anymore.
So what is all your your video length on.
Yeah, you don't want to use all your battery.
Yeah, your battery.
It's a really good waterproofing and insulating material that'll last for many years, but it's not very flexible, so you can't bend it around the top of the roof. So they have another material up there for that, which they call sauce edge, and then they tie it all up with a lovely little lattice work of hazelwood stakes. Now you might also have noticed that many of these houses are made out of wood rather than the usual brick, and the reason for that is because the ground is very soft being by the river, so if you had a brick house it'd just be a little bit too heavy and subside. So they keep the weight down by making it of wood and then prop the houses up with tubular pilings driven very deep down into the ground for extra support. So should there be any flooding, also they're raised up above the ground so the water would just go straight underneath the house. And one design has taken this even further, because this last house, as we were going along, I was talking about the banks, but looking at the banks you see that there's quite a lot of hops growing here. I've just seen some more on the right hand side. So these are wild hops that you could theoretically make beer out of them. And the old legend goes that they blew off the trading wherries that were transporting for the brewing industry, and they sort of established themselves there over the last 100 years or so. Although whether or not there's any truth in that, I don't know. I did speak to someone from Natural England that said there are just naturally occurring hops, but I quite like the story about the wherries, so it's up to you.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It is so nice.
Right, okay, so we are now going to turn on to Wroxham Broad. You'll just hear me give a sound signal. It's not because I'm a grumpy captain. I mean, I am, but that's not why I'm sounding the horn. But it's to show we're turning to starboard. So one blast of the horn, that means we're turning to starboard. On to Wroxham Broad. If I'd given it 2 blasts, we'd be turning to port. 3 and we'd be reversing, and 4 and we'd be turning round.
Canoes there, there might one.
Yeah, I know. We're right next to the paddle.
Are we?
That's where the paddles are, right next to it.
A good little shot.
It is a good shot. Oh wow. Oh wow, look at that.
That's in their own canoe.
Oh wow.
That is
Ah.
proper lake. Now that's a lake.
That's a broad.
A broad lake, who cares? I call it a lake.
Another shot of that paddle.
Yeah. You know what, Dad? I miss sailing.
Yeah.
I miss sailing.
Yeah.
Okay then, folks, so we are now coming out onto the lovely Wroxham Broad. So it's a pretty big bit of water, covers about 3/4 of a mile in the same as the rivers do, and that's what people used to assume for many years. And then in 1960, a scientist called Dr. Joyce Lambert made the rather remarkable discovery that all of our broads were actually created by medieval peat diggings which flooded due to climate change. So all we now know happened is that the Vikings came over to this part of the world more than 1,000 years ago. Now at that time we had one of the biggest populations in England due to our thriving woolen spinning trades and the fact that we've been populated from Europe, so naturally this east side was the most populous. And all of these people, they needed a lot of fuel, but the only fuel they had about was wood, and they chopped a lot of the trees down. So we're a little bit stuck really. Bit of a fuel crisis, remember that from a couple of years ago. But the Vikings, they had the solution for us, and it wasn't the winter fuel allowance, if any of you are wondering. No, they taught us about peat digging. Now peat is this sort of plant matter that gets compressed and preserved in boggy areas. You dig it out in little blocks called turbs, dry it and burn it as a fuel for heating and cooking. And over hundreds of years, vast amounts of this peat were dug out by
Well, we've got to do the whole lot, Mark. We've got to do some.
with a spade, 5 foot deep. And that's all of our Broads boats, including this one, all these beautiful century-old traditional river cruisers we've got here on the right. They're all very shallow bottoms. That's the Broads design, so you don't get stuck in the mud. They'd be useless at sea because the keel and shape of the freeboard would be so low and flat that you'd get swamped at sea, but they're specifically designed for here in the Broads. The biggest of which is called Wroxham Week in the last week of July, when hundreds of boats come to the Broad for a wonderful 10 days of racing. It has its history going all the way back to the 1880s when they used to call it the Wroxham Water Frolic, which I think is a great name, a water frolic. Looking at the club, it's very quiet at the moment, but on race days down at the bottom, that's my favourite spot. That's where the bar is. And then that little box at the top, that's where the race officer sits and runs all the races from up there. Just got one little Enterprise dinghy out sailing at the moment. Giving us a wave. Wave back if you like. Okay then, so we've got another glorious boat up ahead. See this big black boat ahead of us? This is the Pleasure Wherry Solace, which was built in 1903 as a cargo carrying or trading wherry. But halfway through production, railways came to the region, took away a lot of the trading business and brought tourists here for the first time. So they realised that it would be a lot more profitable just to add a little cabin to the boat and use it as one of the first tourist boats on the board, and what became known as the Pleasure Wherry class. And then a few years later, the rather sleeker looking wherry yachts. But this is pretty much the closest thing to the old traders. If you imagine you didn't have that large wooden cabin and it was more like open for keeping cargo, that's what the old traders look like. And this boat is also the only one that's left that's privately owned. There's only 8 surviving wherries, unfortunately, and this one's, all the others are looked after by trusts and charities, including the Wherry Yacht Charter Trust I showed you, but this is actually someone's own boat, which is quite a lot of work and expense maintaining an old wooden boat of that age. If you're wondering what the flag on the stern of the boat was, that's the Norfolk flag. So keep your eyes peeled for wildlife. Got a heron on the right hand side.
On the right hand side.
Or pouncer, as we call them in Norfolk dialect. That means something tall and thin. Something I haven't been for a while, unfortunately. And the other thing that we tend to spot down here is kingfishers. In fact, there was a couple of kingfishers spotted down this section yesterday, so keep your eyes peeled. It looks quite advantageous for that at the moment. The river's quite quiet, not too much boat traffic, and the weather's pretty nice. So keep your eyes peeled. Now, often the kingfishers, they sit on branches a couple of feet above the water, and then use it as a perch to dive down and catch the fish. So they really like this older Carl woodland. This is a really good environment for them because it's got all the overhanging branches they like. They also like to nest in the loose soil around the roots of the upturned trees, because the trees often easily fall over in this soft, wet soil.
Apart from the river,
and then lovely. Sometimes the kingfishers whiz very fast and low over the water, almost like an electric blue flash. They fly about 25 miles an hour, so if you blink, you could miss it. So you have to be pretty quick. Now, the best piece of advice I can give you to try and spot them in flight is to keep listening. Okay. Now, if you hear like a high-pitched whistle, a bit like a dog whistle, there's two things that can be. The first one, that's a dog owner with a whistle. But the second one, that's a kingfisher in flight. They only make that noise in flight, they make a different noise in their perch. So look in the direction that they're coming from, and the noise is coming from, and you'll see the kingfisher. And once you get tuned into that noise, then you see so many more kingfishers. So I see so many more than you might imagine, because I'm used to the noise. And people say I've never seen a kingfisher. I guarantee a lot of kingfishers have seen them. It's just Evans Point.
Right, I think I do.
That's all you need to have, really.
If you enjoyed that video, I'm not going to do the whole lot today because it's a 2-hour journey, so I just could record it about 30 minutes, I think. So I'm going to leave it there for today and enjoy the rest of the boat ride. So hope to see you guys soon, somewhere. I don't know where, don't know when, don't know how, but we'll see you soon. Like and subscribe and share. Okay, see you soon. Bye.